Are you evaluating CNAPP platforms and trying to decide whether Sysdig Secure belongs in your stack? In this review, we will walk through how Sysdig Secure works, what makes it different, where it excels, where it can be challenging, and how to compare it with leading alternatives. By the end, you will have a practical framework to decide if it matches your risk profile, your Kubernetes footprint, and your operational model. Let us start with the big picture. Sysdig Secure is a cloud-native application protection platform. It brings together four major pillars security teams expect today. First, cloud security posture management, to find and remediate misconfigurations in AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. Second, vulnerability management for container images, hosts, and serverless artifacts from build to runtime. Third, runtime threat detection and response for containers, Kubernetes, and cloud workloads. Fourth, identity and permissions analysis to spotlight risky entitlements and unused access. Sysdig's heritage is Runtime. The company created Falco, the open-source container runtime security engine that watches kernel-level activity and correlates it with container context. Sysdig's agent uses eBPF to tap into system calls with minimal overhead, connect activity to pods, namespaces, and images, and trigger rules that map to tactics in the MITRE ATT&CK framework. When a container spawns a shell, starts a crypto miner, touches sensitive files, or opens an unexpected outbound connection, Falco-style rules can alert in real time. You can tune severities, exceptions, and conditions, and you can enrich events with cloud and Kubernetes metadata for faster triage. What about AI? Sysdig does not market itself as an AI-first detection platform. Its core detections are explainable rules rather than opaque machine learning. That is a design choice many teams appreciate because it keeps alerts transparent and repeatable. At the same time, Sysdig applies behavioral analytics and anomaly scoring to help reduce noise and cluster-related findings, and it prioritizes issues using context, such as exposure, runtime presence, and reachable services. The takeaway is that you get a balance of deterministic detection with pragmatic analytics to focus analysts on what matters most. On the vulnerability side, Sysdig scans images and registries like Amazon ECR, Azure Container Registry, and Google Artifact Registry, as well as Docker Hub and Harbor. It integrates with CI pipelines and GitHub Actions, GitLab CI, Jenkins, and Azure DevOps to shift left. It generates SBOMs, links CVEs to known exploits, and calculates risk using runtime signals. For example, a high-severity CVE that exists only in a stopped image may be ranked lower than a medium-severity vulnerability running in production with a reachable network path. This context-based prioritization is key for reducing patch backlogs. Cloud posture management connects their cloud-native roles in AWS, Azure, and GCP to inventory resources, apply benchmarks like CIS and NIST, and surface misconfigurations such as open S3 buckets, overly permissive security groups, exposed keys, or public Kubernetes control planes. Identity and access analysis, often called CIEM, highlights dormant users, risky roles, and excessive permissions. You can map findings to compliance frameworks like PCI DSS, SOC 2, HIPAA, and ISO 27001, and export reports for audits. Runtime defense is where many buyers see Sysdig's differentiation. Deploy the agent as a Kubernetes daemon set or host agent, and you get deep telemetry for drift control, process lineage, file access, package activity, and network flows. You can record forensic captures for incident response, investigate by container, namespace, or image, and pivot across timelines to reconstruct what happened. For teams that want lighter-weight onboarding, Sysdig also supports agentless cloud and image discovery to rapidly assess inventory and risk. The trade-off is that the richest runtime forensics and process-level detections require the agent. Integrations are broad. Events can stream to Splunk, Elastic, and other CIEM tools. Tickets can be created in ServiceNow or Jira. Alerts can route through PagerDuty, OpsGenie, or Slack. You can automate governance with Terraform and Helm, enforce admission policies in Kubernetes, and connect SSO with Okta, Azure AD, or other SAML providers. Sysdig also supports APIs for custom workflows and exports. How hard is deployment and tuning? Many teams begin by connecting cloud accounts to turn on CSPM and CIEM in an hour. Kubernetes agents typically install through Helm with a few values for credentials and namespaces. Expect to spend a few days tuning alerts in noisy environments, especially in clusters running many sidecars or custom daemons. Sysdig provides base policies that cover common tactics and techniques, and you can layer exceptions or write custom rules to match your workloads. What do users like and what are common pain points? In peer reviews, customers often praise Sysdig's runtime depth, the clarity of Falco-style rules, and the ability to correlate detections with container and pod identity. They also note responsive support and helpful onboarding guides. On the flip side, teams mention a learning curve in the UI for very large multi-cluster environments, the need for thoughtful policy tuning to reduce noise, and operational overhead for managing agents across thousands of nodes. These are common trade-offs for platforms that provide kernel-deep visibility. Let us compare quickly with alternatives. Wiz and Lacework emphasize agentless discovery, posture and testing, and risk graph analytics to scale fast across many accounts with minimal install. They excel at inventory and attack path analysis without touching nodes. Palo Alto Prisma Cloud and Aqua Security provide broad CNAPP coverage and also include runtime features, with different balances of depth and breadth. Sysdig's sweet spot is organizations that need high-fidelity runtime detection and Kubernetes forensics, want clear rule-based detections, and also require solid posture and vulnerability management. If your primary goal is agentless posture at the lowest operational cost, you may prefer an agentless first platform or a hybrid approach pairing Sysdig runtime with another tool. Pricing is quote-based. Expect licensing aligned to hosts, containers, or cloud assets, with tiers that add features like forensics retention, compliance packs, and advanced analytics. A typical evaluation involves a 30-day trial, connecting 2 or 3 cloud accounts, scanning your main registries, deploying agents to a representative production-like cluster, and integrating with your SIEM and ticketing tools. Measure outcomes such as time to first high-fidelity detection, noise reduction after tuning, and mean time to investigate with forensics data. Best practices for success include standardizing deployment with Helm or an operator, setting up baseline policies by namespace, enabling runtime capture for critical workloads, enforcing image scanning gates in CI, and scheduling regular compliance scans with owners assigned. Use context-based prioritization to focus remediation on exploitable and reachable issues, not just raw CVSS scores. Finally, ensure your SOC playbooks include Sysdig alerts, enrichments, and response steps so findings translate into action. In summary, Sysdig Secure is a credible CNAPP with standout runtime visibility powered by Falco and eBPF, solid vulnerability and SBOM workflows, and practical posture and identity analysis across AWS, Azure, and GCP. It favors explainable detections with analytics on top rather than AI-heavy black boxes. The main considerations are agent operations and UI complexity at extreme scale. If your organization values deep container and Kubernetes runtime security with integrated CNAPP features, it is well worth a hands-on trial. If you need purely agentless posture with minimal ops, compare it side by side with agentless-centric platforms and choose the blend that fits your team and threat model.